I'd like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of September the 10th, 2020 to order at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunter?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Barry?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Attorney Zimonak?
Here.
Village Manager May?
Here.
Finance Director Parker?
Here.
Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and welcome everyone. We're still kind of a hybrid meeting. We have a full board present. We've got a trustee and myself here with the clerk and staff. The rest are participating virtual. Open forum. Manager May, do you have any requests from anybody in the public?
There are no public comments this evening, thank you.
Okay, no, and they're also welcome to come to the meeting.
Yes, the meeting is open to the public. The Village Hall is open for purposes of public meetings. And there's either in person or the comments that the mayor was requesting, or there's a ability to submit public comment through the website, through an electronic form, and then we would read those into the record, should that be done that way.
Good, thank you. At that point, I'll close open forum and I'll move on to reports. Again, I mentioned my report that we're still doing the hybrid village meetings, but we encourage anybody who wants to attend to please come to any future meetings. And I'd ask Chief Riley if he would give us, in person, a COVID-19 update.
Thank you, Mayor. So today in the state of Illinois, unfortunately, we had 1,953 new cases, and unfortunately, including 28 new deaths. Recently, Westmont has had, since yesterday, 3 new cases, and we've had 24 new cases in the last 2 weeks since I've given the board an update. In DuPage County, we're at 15,682 cases, along with 540 deaths. The positivity rate, I'm happy to announce, has gone down from 2 weeks ago from 4.5 to today we're at 3.8. The reason for the large number of tests the last couple of days is because of what's going on in the colleges that we've seen in Illinois. We've seen a big spike in the age groups of 15 to 39-year-olds. Again, that's at the college level. If you didn't see, down in Bradley yesterday, 500 students tested positive for COVID. We still have those going out to our bars and restaurants and not social distancing, not following the guidelines. So again, as my message always is to end, is we need to continue to social distance, continue to wear our face mask coverings in public places, restaurants, buildings, etc., so we can hopefully get this lower positivity rate, hopefully down under 3. So that's my report for you, Mayor, unless the board or anybody has any questions for me.
Thank you, Chief. Real quick, our 100th anniversary committee, we had a meeting, and a lot of things still have to be figured out with the uncertainty of the virus or where it'll be. Our 99th birthday will be November 10th this year. So we'll have some sort of, the goal, I think, is to dedicate and ribbon cut at the new Public Works building. And then we'll have additional events throughout next year. But right now, with everything going on with the COVID-19, nothing has been really finalized for next year, other than it is our 100th. We're going to recognize it, and we're going to do some events. So other than that, that's all I have, and I'll turn to Clerk Simsky.
I just want to announce to everybody that next spring, we will have a village election. And the candidate packets will be available for pickup from the clerk's office on September 21st, 2020. September 22nd is the first day that candidates can go out and obtain petitions for the April election. So the positions that will be involved are the mayor, the clerk, and 3 trustees. So anybody interested, they will be available, the packets, as I said, on the 21st, and you can go out and start getting signature on September 22nd, so.
And the packet will lay out all the different dates and stuff. So, good. Thank you. Trustee Nero.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few items. Our next Public Works Committee meeting is September 24th, 4:30, right here in Village Hall. A little update on our new Public Works building that's coming along pretty nicely for those that have driven by and seen it. If not, I definitely encourage you to drive by and check it out. We're at 83% complete. We started installing carpet and tile throughout. Fireproofing is completed. This week, bathrooms are going to be completed and the retaining wall should start. So again, we're on pace and hope to see that wrap up here in the relatively near future. Next, just another update on a project at 61st Street and the Richmond Detention basement. We're almost done, 95% complete. Final trees are being planted at the end of the month, which will polish that off. And the next Alley C project, pervious concrete will be poured this week, depending on the weather conditions. Obviously, we're not off to a good start, but the first phase should be completed by October 1st. And that is all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Little.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of items here. The Admin Finance Committee meeting occurred at 4:30 this afternoon, and we talked about past due balances on water and places of eating taxes. So those will be being addressed on an ongoing basis starting right away. Downtown parking requirements, there was a concern that has been voiced, and we'll be addressing information on that in the going forward. Also, the COVID-19 relief grant program, we had already as a village set money aside to help businesses, and we will be re-examining what's going on with that and possibly opening it up for additional funding or additional service companies that can apply for those grants. So be looking forward for that information. The next thing we've got going is, sad to say, but the events for Halloween that have been canceled are the casket races, pumpkin smashing, haunted forest, and the trick-or-treat trails. But I can gladly announce that we are creating 2 new events right now. One is a Wicked West Fest costume contest, which will be done on your own personal location. We will send after you register online through the special events page, we will send the judges to your home so that you can be judged in your costume. We'll set it up so that you have a specified time that we'll show up, and we'll be handling that from our vehicles, so you won't have to wear a mask. You'll be separated from us by a distance. Another event that we're going to be putting on is the Halloween home decorating contest, and we'll be sending judges out in their automobiles to take those out. So we do have a couple of items that are going down, and eventually, possibly by the next meeting, we will have an update on door-to-door trick-or-treating possibility. So that is yet to be determined. We want to do it as safely as possible, so we'll be getting into more details after we hear from DuPage County and/or the state of Illinois. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Marie Johanna Guzzo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Couple things. Our next Public Safety Committee meeting is November 19th at 4:30. It will probably be a hybrid meeting. Stay tuned for details on that. The fire department, the 9/11 service will be on 9/11, which is tomorrow at 9:11 a.m. outside at the flagpole at 500 North Cass Avenue. This will be a small service to honor those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. This will be for village staff only due to COVID-19 restrictions. And the police department is going to be hosting a shred event. police department is working with the Westmont Business DocuShred on a paper shredding event, which will be a fundraiser for Special Olympics Illinois. It is scheduled on October 17th. Stay tuned for more information on that. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Barker.
Thank you, Mayor. Two quick items. Through Westmont first, I'm happy to report that the census participation now is up to 74%. And the Environmental Improvement Committee will meet Monday night at Village Hall at 6 p.m. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. And Trustee Barker, do we know what percent we were at the last census?
You know, Mayor, I'm working on getting that figure so that we have something to compare to.
Good.
As a group, we feel we're doing better and we've done better, but we haven't been able to pull up that number yet.
Okay, thank you. And Trustee Barry.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We've had several EDC meetings. The EDC team is meeting weekly, so we haven't met together as a group with our community input and our school superintendents and so forth. So we've been meeting as a team. We met again today, and we had an exciting project that was proposed back in 2016, and now they're bringing it forward again in the 200 North block of Cass Avenue. So, and it sounds like they're ready to move forward and excited about coming to Westmont. Also in that block, and Chief Riley had done a great job about notifying the public. I saw on social media and a couple other posts. Uncle Pete's had a fire last night, and of course a legendary pizza place in town, and the fire department did a great job and controlling that, and we're hoping that Kim and her family can get back on their feet after their second fire there. We're also working on a couple issues we had up on Pasquinelli Drive with some of the hotels and the extended stay. The police department and code enforcement and staff are working on cleaning up a lot of the issues we've had out there. So we look for improvements along Pasquinelli. And moving into P&Z, we're seeing the projects continue on 63rd Street. Starbucks is dangerously close to opening. We think our mystery grocery store is going to be January. And we're also seeing the medical building on Ogden is really moving along rapidly. As Trustee Nero reported, and I think I personally witnessed today, I think they did get the concrete poured in the alley. So all the businesses are excited in that section to finally have an alley where pedestrians and cars and deliveries and so forth can come. So a lot of exciting things going on, and really looking forward to getting through this virus and really stepping things up. So that's all I have today, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Moving on the agenda, does anybody have any item they'd like to have removed from the consent agenda? Seeing none, then I'd ask Manager May to please read.
Tonight, this evening on the consent agenda, first is Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held August 27, 2020. Next is Finance Ordinance number 9 in the aggregate amount of $2,726,781.69. We have 3 purchase orders. The first two purchase orders are for the Village of Addison, and they both represent dispatch services, an annual amount. First purchase order is for police dispatching services, $335,101, and the second purchase order for fire dispatch services is $333,773. Third purchase order is for the Illinois Environmental Protection Agency for $25,984.86. That represents a debt payment on an EPA loan for a previous project, West Burlington and Lincoln water main projects. The total of the purchase orders is $694,858.86, brings the total of the purchase orders with Finance Ordinance number 9 to $3,421,640.55. Last on the consent agenda is one proclamation. Board to consider a proclamation declaring September as Hunger Action Month in the Village of Westmont. And that is all.
Do I have a motion to approve as read?
Motion to approve is read. Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion been made in second. On the question. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little,
Yes?
trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Nero,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo,
Yes.
trustee Barker.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll go to unfinished business. New liquor license classification. Board to consider ordinance amending Chapter 10, Section 10-36 of the Westmont Code of Ordinances to create a new liquor license classification, which will be Class 25, for sale of alcohol at any natatorium-type venue. And I've got Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern to give us some more information.
Evening, Mayor and Village Board. A new liquor license classification is needed to allow any natatorium in Westmont to serve or sell alcohol during swim meets. Class 25 license for the sale of all alcohols at liquor-sponsored swim meet events and up to 12 non-swim events a year is proposed. All alcohol must remain in a viewing or visitor area only, and hours of operation are limited to an hour before a swim meet, starting at 7 a.m., and they could go to an hour after a swim meet, but finally at 11 p.m. would be their closing time. This is for any natatorium. As we all know, we have one coming into town. They have approached the village to ask to see the possibility of their having the ability to sell and serve alcohol, thus the creation for the license. Some things to note is that the alcohol only be sold during swim meets or swim meets which are sponsored events. The hours they said about, they can serve an hour before a swim meet and an hour after a swim meet. They will not have a kitchen area. They are working with local businesses to serve local food on site, thus the alcohol. It's all liquors, not just beer and wine. And the main reason they're asking for this is to be competitive nationally. There are other natatoriums in other local states, and they want to be on a level playing field. Some natatoriums offer alcohol, so they just want to be able to be on a level playing field to get as many events as they can.
Do I have a motion to approve Class 25 license?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second?
Second, Barry.
You got the motion second. Comments, questions?
I have a question. Do you know if they're planning to maintain a bar, have a bartender, and storage of their liquor on site?
Good question, didn't ask. I asked about their serving, and it's going to be upstairs in their food area.
Okay.
Currently, their layout, I did an on-site inspection, their layout is second floor. At all exits coming down from the second floor, they're supposed to have signs posted, no alcohol beyond this point, so it'll remain upstairs. As far as that, they're gonna have a kitchen area, and they would serve it from there. I imagine they should have something rather than doing it from a table. I mean, they wouldn't look very professional, but, and everything I've seen them there, they've been very, very professional. I will seek that answer and get back to the board.
Make sure that their bartenders are,
We talked about that, even the owners, we talked about their requirement of the owners and their general manager and their personnel being Bassett certified.
like that, thank you.
They have
Any
to
other
wear
comments?
floaties.
Seeing none, I'd ask for roll call, please.
Trustee Nero,
Yes.
what do you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Trustee Barry,
Yes.
trustee Little,
Yes?
trustee Barker,
Yes.
trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business. A, award of bid proposal, Westmont Fueling Center at 6015 South Cass. Board to consider an ordinance awarding the bid proposal from Crown Industries LTD for the new Westmont Fueling Center and authorizing a contract consistent with the bid document. Public Works Director Ramsey.
Thank you, Mayor. The village accepted two bid proposals from two contractors for this project. The low bidder was Crown Industries Limited. The low bid of $869,000, which is approximately 1% below the engineering estimate of $900,000. This project, if approved, will be built in two stages. The first phase of the project will be built in the fall of 2020, which would include all the underground work, utility work, grading, and install of the actual fuel tanks. The second phase would be built in the summer of 2021, either late spring, early summer. That would include actually the awning and everything else above ground would be completed at that point. The staff recommends approval of this proposal.
Do I have a motion to
Motion
approve?
to approve, Little?
Second, Nero.
Motion made second. Comments or questions? Seeing none, I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. New business B, noise restrictions for liquor licensed businesses. Board to consider an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 3 of the Westmont Code of Ordinances to enact noise restrictions for liquor licensed businesses. And we got Deputy Liquor Commissioner Mulhern.
Thank you again, Mayor. Currently, there are no limitations set in our ordinances on the sound level emanating from a liquor establishment, whether from live entertainment or otherwise. The new limitations will be added to the Chapter 10 liquor ordinance and enforced by the Liquor Commissioner. A noise decibel meter will be used by the police department to obtain a decibel reading of any music noise at a liquor license entertainment event. Violations will be handled by the Liquor Commissioner. This is something we've been working on with the village attorney and myself for a while. Over the years, we've had a general understanding with the local businesses that if they have a live entertainment event, they need to keep their noise at a reasonable level. And our current ordinance says that level is determined by the Liquor Commissioner. We felt it'd be better for us to have something more specific as to how the measurements are taken and to what the sound level is, rather than just a general statement. So with that understanding, we move forward and we came up with a ordinance. It'll be handled by the Liquor Commissioner. Any violations will be heard by the Liquor Commissioner as a violation against a liquor license. For the last 2 years, we've told businesses to self-police themselves. You can do it on a phone app. I've done that for many years, but that's not a professional reading. And so we asked them before, at the beginning of their events, go and take measurements and make sure your sound levels are appropriate. We felt that to be fair to a business, a spacing distance would be required, so the measurements are to be taken 70 feet from any property line of the business, and the decibel reading should not be any higher than 70. So it's very easy to read, 70 feet, 70 decibels. As an example would be Johnny Blitz in downtown. 70 feet would be if they go across the street to Dr. Blaney's dental office, the sidewalk there, that's 70 feet away, and so that's where the readings would be taken. I'm in the process, in conjunction with the police department and Chief Gunther, in getting a professional sound meter. There are different types, but we're getting what's called a Class 1 meter, which is used for hearing and or judicial proceedings. It's a professional unit, so that way the officers will be able to take the readings. They'll calibrate the unit, much like radar guns, once before and once after each reading, and they'll take 2 readings. And so it's something that I've been telling the local businesses this is coming. For the last 2 years, they've generally been policing themselves, and I'm kind of proud to say that we've gotten calls for loud music, but when the officers get there, the readings are below 70. So this is something that will be in effect on Monday. Once this is all done with the clerk's office, I will notify all the businesses of this. That's now formally in effect.
I think the key here is after discussing it with the attorney, it just gives us a little bit more teeth in the ordinance, and it's specific. And we've been going by this for the last several years. We haven't had anybody that has really violated it. It's a good warning. We get calls about it, and when we go there, there's not. And the 70 is pretty much consistent with the surrounding communities.
Right, I did surveys, and John did as well, too. We researched a lot of local communities, and they range anywhere between 65 to 75 decibels at the property line. I mean, if you went to a business at the property line, some of these, like if Johnny Blitz had his doors open, there's no way he could possibly be in compliance. This also takes away the discretionary or the arbitrary actions of any officer, because when they go there, the officer's like, well, it sounds loud to me. Well, it may be loud to that officer, may not be loud to me. This way it gives them guidance and puts us all on a better footing for the future.
Good. And a lot of this started back with the outdoor tent at Oak Brook Hills, where they were, that's when all this noise issue and regulations. So finally, we've got something on the books that can't be referred to.
Right, and again, too, it gives our businesses, they know ahead of time what's expected of them. They can easily go and do their phone app measurements, but, you know, the professional instrument may get a different reading, so they need to police it themselves.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second.
Second, Barry.
Oh, they're close. Any additional comments?
I have some questions, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
First of all, it's great to see Tom at the podium. And secondly, would this apply to Taste of Westmont and cruising nights when we have the bands out by the KC and so forth?
We went just with liquor licensed businesses. We didn't really cover that. I guess you could say that we could. That's something I probably would look into, and we should. I'll defer to the village attorney on this.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say that's probably officer's discretion. If there's a big outdoor event where people are outside and businesses are outside and there's a live band playing, let's say at the Knights of Columbus or something, that's probably officer's discretion not to write a noise violation ticket for something like that.
And the taste, I mean.
Well, but I mean, looking at it from let's use, as long as we're using Johnny as an example, you know, if he can only play his music a certain decimal, and a band can set up out in front of his place and blare as loud as they want, I don't know that we're not going to hear about that.
You bring up a good point, Trustee Barry, on the live events such as the special events Taste of Westmont. I mean, I live on the south side of town, and I can hear the music, so I would imagine if we took a reading on Quincy Street, which would be 70 feet from the property line being the event barrier for Taste, it's going to exceed 70 decibels.
Well, you know, I'd just like to add, in a special event setting, they do come and get a separate permit for those purposes, so that would be the point that you would either acknowledge or identify what your expectations are of them, but that's a separate approval process where it could be covered.
That's true. That's a good point also, because the ordinances approving those special events do include an amplified sound permit that allow them to, while we don't have a decibel level maximum, that do allow them to play amplified music.
And I'll starting next week, I'll do research and see if I can find anything on live events such as that, what other towns do, and then maybe we can incorporate that sound level in with the contractor agreement or the issuance of a permit.
That might be difficult to monitor simply because with the Taste of Westmont, where's your property line? I mean, you're out in front of the stage. Do you go 70 feet from the stage? Because there's a huge amplifier there.
They have well, the Taste has a operational thing, Naperville Road to the north, the railroad tracks to the south, the alleys on the east side. That's their operational area for
Right.
liquor.
So it'd be
I
out
would use
beyond
that
that?
as the boundary. That's
Okay.
what I would, I mean, in deference to the business, or to the association.
Okay.
I would use that, but still, like I said, I can hear it on 59th Street. I seriously doubt that at Quincy Street it's gonna pass.
I think, not that it's an exception, but Trustee Barry brought it up, is cruising nights, when you have a smaller band
Right.
out. Should they be playing music louder than we allow and when there's businesses around?
I would consider that the same with Johnny Blitz is, you know, with his open doors, that technically his band is almost outside. I would say that they're bound by the 70 decibels at the limits, which would be the alley, and again, the event perimeters.
Well, and I think John and Steve cleared up on the Taste. I mean, and the Taste would be an unrealistic ordinance for the Taste. I think but I do have concerns with not making it fair there that, Johnny's got to have it at a certain level with his doors open, but somebody who's, outside there could be louder. I mean, we should make that, at least as a courtesy for the cruising nights, we should probably keep that in check.
And I agree, and again, I would use the 70 feet from the boundaries, and if I'm not mistaken, for the street fairs, it's from Norfolk or Naperville, same as Taste of Westmont, Naperville to Burlington to the alleys. So if an officer wanted to take a reading, and here comes the chief, so I'll let him handle that. I don't do that anymore.
So just thinking through some of the logic on this, the primary times that we get calls for these types of complaints are well after 11 o'clock. So between 11 o'clock and closing, 10 o'clock and closing, when we get complaints for noise for bands. And I think the neighborhoods are very tolerant of bands that are playing during either the street fair or the Taste of Westmont, much more so than they are tolerant at midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning. So that's really what we're trying to guard against, is the very late night hours of when music is blaring up and down Cass Avenue, when there's no other ambient noise to distract people that are listening to it in their homes from having that effect. So I think the timing of it is probably the more optimal thing to focus on, rather than individual events or individual businesses.
Chief, and I may explain too, and most of the instances where the officers respond were complaint driven, so they would not be going arbitrarily taking readings. Mostly they would be complaint driven, I don't know.
They're both. They're complaint driven, and it's their job to be out in the neighborhoods monitoring everything. So it could also be officer initiated as well.
Now, non-special event, we've implemented for alcohol places. They have to be entertainment inside at 11 o'clock on Friday and Saturday nights,
Yes.
I believe. And then weeknights, it's 10.
It's 11 o'clock as well, but places have to have their doors closed.
Closed.
It ends at 11.
Yeah.
On weeknights, they have to have their doors closed, I believe, at 10.
Yeah, so the entertainment needs to be contained inside at a certain point. So, any other comments? I'd ask for a roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barry.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, ambulance fees increase. Board to consider ordinance amending Chapter 42, Article 5 of the Westmont Code of Ordinances to increase ambulance fees to allow for reimbursement. Fire Chief Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. So, based on the recommendations that I brought to Public Safety a couple weeks ago, the fire department would like to increase the ambulance fees per the attached amended ordinance. However, earlier this evening at Admin and Finance, Manager May spoke. As my team from the fire department and finance, Director Parker and his team in finance, as we are filling out some documents for the ground emergency medical transport, we have to submit this report every year, and we've come back with the report that the average ambulance run now, instead of being the $2,000 that I recommended, is more like $2,300. So I'll look to the manager or to the attorney to see how we can amend what is on the agenda for tonight to try to get the board to approve 2,300 versus 2,000.
So the agenda does not list a specific amount, but what I'd recommend if you want to increase the amounts is to have a trustee make a motion to state what those fees are, have it seconded, voted on, and then we can vote on the original ordinance as amended.
So first a motion for the ordinance and then a second motion to amend it? Correct. Okay.
You need two motions. Do I have a motion for the ordinance?
So moved, Little?
Second, Guzzo.
Motion made and second. Any additional comments? Roll call,
Well,
please.
but
Oh,
before
sorry.
we vote, I think a motion to amend would supersede the pending motion. So if there's a different amount that's suggested, a trustee can make a motion to amend the amounts from 2,000 to 2,300. Is it? Yeah, that's,
So John, couldn't we just word it that it would cover the costs versus having an amount in case it's kind of an ever flow, like maybe it's $2,400 next month or it's $2,600? Is there some way we could just say to cover the amount?
Well, I know traditionally we've always had a specific amount, and that lets the public know what they would have to pay, and it lets insurers know if it's covered by insurance, what they have to pay. So rather than fluctuate up and down, I think providing that clarity is important. And I know the fire department comes back every year or so and makes these more or less annual adjustments. So I'd rather proceed down that path.
Yeah, it shouldn't change month to month. We're submitting this by October 1, and it should stay that way until we resubmit it in October 1 of 2021.
So I need a amended motion to increase the fee from $2,000 to $2,300.
So moved, Little?
Second, Guzzo.
Motion made in second on the question. That one's for
We need a roll call on the amendment.
Yeah.
On the amendment.
And now I'd ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call on the amendment motion.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
A vote on the
Yes.
original motion as amended.
Okay. And now I need a motion,
A roll call.
a roll call. We already had one, that's right. A roll call on the original motion that was presented and the amendment attached.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Motion passes. Miscellaneous, anybody have anything they'd, if not, we will call.
Mayor, wait a
Yes.
minute. I just have a short, I want to thank the Public Works Department for coming out and cleaning up all the trees and all the hanging branches that were still around from the storm. They were out there and they do a wonderful job, so
Parkway, yeah,
I appreciate that. My parkway looks nice again.
yeah, I think we all do.
Can I-
Yes,
And this evening, other than other miscellaneous business, for the first time since we've been having virtual meetings or hybrid meetings, we have you'll still need to make a motion for it, but expecting that we're going to have an executive session, we'll have to log out of this meeting as far as the participants that are participating remotely and sign in with a different link for that meeting. I bring that up now because that executive session, whenever we had recess here tonight, will convene, let's just say 5 minutes after we do that. And
on this link, right?
on the new link that was,
The new link will adjourn or come back to this one?
this meeting, if you do make a motion to go into executive session, there will be no further business at this meeting, and this meeting will just end. So you use the new link for just the executive session for the rest of the night.
That's good, okay. So what I need now.
And Steve, that link's going to be the Google.
That's correct, and I just emailed it, reminder, like 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so I need a motion to adjourn to executive session to discuss the following: the selection of a person to fill a vacancy in a public office pursuant to Section 2C3 of the Open Meetings Act. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Motion made in second to go in executive session. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Barry?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
And this portion of the meeting will be adjourned. We'll be going into the executive session in 5 minutes. And after that, there will be no further business for the village board. So again, thank you for participating and coming